Ladies and gentlemen, tell me, what would it feel like at this very moment to be loved beyond measure? Not just loved, but cherished, adored, held in the highest regard. Can you sense it? Can you allow yourself to fully embody that feeling right now? For if you can, then I tell you, you have already received it. You do not attract love, you reveal it. You do not chase love, you assume it. The great secret is that all love, all devotion, all passion is already yours, awaiting your acceptance. There is no power outside of you that withholds love. Love is not something that comes from another. It is the reflection of your own consciousness. If you assume that you are unloved, life will mirror it. If you assume yourself to be treasured, honored, and desired, the world will conform to your assumption. You are not subject to fate. You are the creator of your fate. Your imagination is the key to all manifestation. For what you hold within must be expressed without. When you close your eyes and feel, not as one who longs, but as one who already has, you activate the great law. The world does not bring love to you. It is your awareness of being loved that compels the world to yield its evidence. Do not seek love as though it were missing. For the moment you search, you affirm its absence. Instead, dwell in the feeling of its fulfillment. If love were yours right now, how would you think? How would you move? How would you breathe? That is the state to which you must return, again and again, until the dream becomes undeniable reality. The present circumstances do not matter, for they are only shadows cast by previous thoughts. What matters is the assumption you now hold. Dismiss the senses, for they deceive. Ignore the past, for it is dead. Only this moment holds the power to define what must come. And if, in this moment, you assume yourself to be the beloved, the adored, the sought, then that assumption becomes law. Understand this. Love is not separate from you. It is not given or taken. It is awakened. And when you awaken to the truth that you are already love, the world cannot help but reflect it back to you. What would you do if you knew that the love you desire is already yours? If you could walk through life with the absolute certainty that you are deeply loved, cherished, and adored, how would you think? How would you move? How would you feel? For I tell you, the only thing separating you from this love is the assumption that you do not yet have it. The great mystery of life is that whatever you assume to be true in your world will manifest itself in form. If you assume yourself to be unloved, life will harden that belief into fact. If you assume yourself to be love itself, love will surround you in ways beyond your comprehension. There is no force outside of you that decides whether you will experience love. No power determines whether you are worthy or unworthy, whether you shall receive or be deprived. You alone create the conditions of your life by the assumptions you hold about yourself. If you believe love is rare, that it is difficult to obtain, that you must prove yourself worthy of it, then life will mirror those beliefs, bringing experiences of struggle, distance, and longing. But if you accept, even for a moment, that love is your birthright, that you are already enveloped in its embrace, that you are chosen and desired beyond measure, then the world must respond accordingly. The power of assumption is absolute. It does not waver, nor does it fail. Every experience you have had up to this moment has been the direct result of what you have assumed about yourself. You were never at the mercy of others, never subject to fate or chance. Life only ever reflects the state of your consciousness. And so, if you desire love, do not seek it as something outside of you, something to be acquired or pursued. Instead, assume that it is already yours. Walk in the world as one who is loved. Speak as one whose heart is full. Think as one who knows that love is inevitable, unshakable, eternal. It is not enough to merely hope for love. Hope suggests that you are uncertain. It is not enough to wish for it, for wishing implies lack. You must assume that it is already done. You must live in the certainty that what you desire is already established in unseen reality, and that the world has no choice but to bring it forth. And how do you do this? By embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled. By closing your eyes and stepping into the reality where love is not something distant, not something to be earned, but something that is already here. Ask yourself, if I were already in the love I desire, how would I feel? Would I feel at peace? Would I feel secure? Would I wake each day with a heart overflowing with gratitude? If so, then begin now to cultivate those feelings. Do not wait for external confirmation. Do not look to the world to prove your assumption true. Assume it now and let the world reshape itself to reflect your inner conviction. The greatest error one can make is to believe that love is outside of them, that it must come from another, that it is dependent on circumstances or conditions. Love does not come from another. It is revealed through you. It is not the external that must change, but the internal. The moment you decide that you are already loved, you will find that people, events, and circumstances shift in ways you never imagined. You will no longer chase love, for love will come to you effortlessly. You will no longer feel the need to seek validation, for you will be so filled with the knowledge of your worth that the world will reflect it back to you in every interaction. Do not look to your current reality for proof. The world you see now is nothing more than the result of past assumptions. It is a reflection of what you previously held to be true, and if it does not yet show what you desire, then it is only because your assumption has not yet been shifted. But the moment you dare to claim a new reality, the moment you boldly assume that you are already the recipient of the love you seek, everything must change. It is law. You must persist in your assumption, even when the senses tempt you to believe otherwise, even when circumstances appear unchanged, even when doubt whispers in your ear. You must hold firm. For just as a seed planted in the earth does not sprout immediately, so too must your assumption be given time to grow. The world cannot help but conform to your inner reality. It has no will of its own. It is an obedient servant to the mind that assumes dominion over it. And so, if love is what you desire, do not ask how it will come. Do not wonder when it will appear. Assume it now. Live from the end. Walk as one who knows that love is not something to be gained, but something that already exists within. Let your thoughts, your words, your actions reflect this certainty. Speak only of what is desired, never of what is lacking. Dwell only in the feeling of being adored, never in the fear of being abandoned. For the one who assumes themselves to be loved will be loved. The one who assumes themselves to be chosen will be chosen. The one who assumes themselves to be cherished will be cherished. And once you understand that assumption is the creative power behind all things, you will never again seek outside of yourself for what has always been within. What is imagination if not the very force that shapes reality? Have you ever paused to consider that everything you have ever experienced, every event, every relationship, and every moment of love or lack thereof has been nothing more than the outpicturing of your own consciousness? You do not stumble into love, nor do you find it by accident. Love does not come to you from another, nor is it something granted or withheld by the external world. Love is imagined into being. It is the direct reflection of what you hold within. The great secret, overlooked by many, is that imagination is not some idle faculty reserved for dreams and fantasies. It is the very power that molds life itself. What you imagine with feeling, with conviction, with unwavering certainty, must come to pass. The world, though appearing solid and fixed, is nothing more than a mirror of your assumptions. And so, if love is what you seek, then look not to the world for its fulfillment. Instead, turn within. Close your eyes, and for a moment, allow yourself to feel what it would be like if love were already yours. Not something distant, not something you hope to attain, but something so real, so present that you can feel it now. If you were already embraced in the arms of love, if you were already adored beyond measure, if your heart already knew the certainty of being deeply cherished, how would you feel? Would you not feel at peace? Would your heart not overflow with gratitude? Would you not move through life with an unshakable knowing that love is inevitable, that it is yours, that it cannot be lost? This is the key. For if you can feel it, even for a moment, then you have already set the wheels in motion. The world has no choice but to yield to your assumption. It must rearrange itself in ways beyond your comprehension to bring forth that which you have claimed as true within. There is no force outside of you dictating whether love shall enter your life. No unseen hand determining whether you are worthy or unworthy. You alone decide, and you do so by the images you hold in your mind. Many believe they must work, strive, and struggle to find love. They believe it is something to be earned, something that requires effort, persuasion, or external validation. But I tell you, love is not won through effort. It is received through assumption. It is drawn into your experience by the conviction that it is already yours. If you assume yourself to be alone, to be undesired, to be lacking in love, then life will confirm that assumption at every turn. But if you assume yourself to be loved, if you dwell in the feeling of being adored, if you persist in the conviction that love is not something you chase, but something that is drawn to you effortlessly, then love must find you. The great mistake is in believing that circumstances must change before you can assume a new reality, that you must see love present in your life before you can believe in its existence. But this is to misunderstand the law. The external world is not cause, but effect. It is not the source of your experience, but the reflection of your inner state. To wait for love to appear before assuming its presence is to put the cart before the horse. You must assume it first, claim it first, dwell in its reality before the world has given you evidence of its truth. And when you do, that evidence must follow. There is no difference between imagining love and experiencing it. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. And so when you close your eyes and feel yourself to be in the embrace of love, when you allow yourself to sink fully into the reality where you are adored, cherished, and deeply valued, then you have already begun the process of manifestation. You need not force anything, nor must you concern yourself with how it will come to pass. Your only task is to assume its truth and let the world conform to your assumption. Many will say, "But how can I believe in something I do not yet see?" To them I say this: have you not already seen the power of imagination at work in your life? Have you not feared something only to have it materialize before you? Have you not worried over events only to see them unfold exactly as you dreaded? If imagination can bring forth fear, lack, and misfortune when used unconsciously, then why should it not bring forth love, joy, and fulfillment when directed with purpose? The same law that governs all things governs love as well. You need only shift your awareness. Cease to see yourself as one who longs for love and begin to see yourself as one who already has it. Speak as though you are loved. Think as though you are loved. Move as though the world itself adores you, and you will find that it does. The world does not define you, you define the world. It is but a canvas upon which you project the images of your mind. And so, if love is what you wish to experience, then paint only images of love. Hold steadfast to this vision. Do not waver, do not doubt. If the world does not immediately reflect your assumption, do not despair. For reality is only a delayed mirror. What you assume today must become fact tomorrow. What you imagine now must be made visible in due time. The only thing that can delay its arrival is your own doubt, your own hesitation, your own unwillingness to fully claim that which is already yours. Imagination is the substance of reality. Nothing exists that was not first imagined. And so, if you would have love, if you would experience the fullness of being adored, then let your imagination be your guide. Assume love now, dwell in its certainty, and in doing so you will find that love, once imagined, cannot be denied. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you desire love? Why the thought of being cherished, adored, and deeply valued stirs something within you? Have you ever questioned why this longing exists at all? Desire is not random. It is not an empty wish, nor a fleeting craving of the heart. It is the very voice of creation itself, calling you toward that which is already yours. You would not have the desire unless the fulfillment of that desire was already a reality waiting to be claimed. The longing for love is not proof of its absence. It is proof of its existence. It is the whisper of the unseen, urging you to assume that which is already prepared for you. All things exist in infinite potential. Every possibility is already real, awaiting your recognition. The love you seek is not something that must be created, not something that must be earned, not something that must be found. It is something that must be accepted. The moment you feel the pull of desire within you, the moment you recognize that you long for love, you must understand that the very presence of that desire is the evidence that love is already yours. It exists now, in this very moment, though unseen to the eyes. It is waiting for you to claim it. Desire is the seed of creation. It is the proof that what you wish for is not only possible, but inevitable. If you will only assume it as true, the only reason you have not yet seen it manifest is that you have mistaken desire for lack. You have believed that to want something is to be separate from it. But desire is not separation, it is connection. It is the unseen hand guiding you toward what is already real within you. The love you seek is not outside of you. It is not held by another, nor is it something you must chase. It is an extension of yourself, waiting to be brought forth through your awareness. Look at the world around you. Every invention, every work of art, every masterpiece of human creation existed first as an unfulfilled desire. The architect saw the building before it took form. The painter envisioned the masterpiece before the brush met the canvas. The composer heard the symphony before a single note was played. They did not mistake desire for lack. They knew that what they longed for already existed, waiting to be expressed. And so it is with love. If you desire it, it is already yours. Your only task is to assume its presence. Do not wait for the world to confirm what you seek. Do not look to others to validate your worthiness. The external world does not create love. It only reflects what you have already assumed within. If you desire to be loved, then assume that you are already loved. Do not wait for another to give it to you. Do not look to circumstances to prove it true. Feel it now. Embody it now. For if you wait, you will continue to wait. But if you claim it in this moment, the world has no choice but to bring it forth. Desire and fulfillment are one and the same. The only thing that keeps them apart is your refusal to believe in their unity. You do not need to chase love. You do not need to seek it as if it is something distant. You need only to recognize that your longing is not an empty wish, but the undeniable proof that what you seek is already here. The more you persist in the assumption that love is yours, the more the world will bend to reveal it. Every person you meet, every experience you have, will begin to reflect the reality you have claimed. Think not of how it will come. The means are not your concern. The mind that desires is the same mind that fulfills. The path will reveal itself as you persist in your knowing. Love will come, not through force, not through effort, but through the quiet certainty that it is already done. When the architect sees the building in his mind, he does not worry about the bricks. When the composer hears the melody within, he does not concern himself with the instruments. He trusts that the details will align because he has already claimed the end. And so must you. Do not be swayed by appearances. The absence of love in your current reality means nothing. It is but a shadow cast by past assumptions. What you see now is the reflection of old beliefs, nothing more. If you persist in those beliefs, you will continue to experience the same reality. But if you assume a new truth, if you dare to believe that your desire is already fulfilled, then the world must shift. It is law. It is unchanging. It cannot fail. You are not at the mercy of fate. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of your experience, and your desire is the divine invitation to assume the state of its fulfillment. When you feel the pull of love, do not resist it with doubt. Do not question whether you are worthy. Do not wonder if it will come. Accept it now. Walk as though it is already yours. Speak as though it has already been given. Move as one who knows that love is not something to be earned, but something that is already flowing through every fiber of your being. And as you persist in this knowing, the world will shift. People will appear. Circumstances will align. The love that seemed distant will become so natural, so inevitable, that you will wonder how you ever doubted its presence. You will see that it was never outside of you. It was never something separate. It was always there, waiting for you to assume its reality. For the one who desires love is already in possession of it. The one who feels the pull of longing is already on the path to its fulfillment. The one who assumes it as real will see it made visible. And when you understand this, you will never again question your worthiness. You will never again chase love. You will simply rest in the knowing that what you seek is already yours. What if I told you that the love you seek is already seeking you? That the longing you feel is not one-sided, but the echo of something that already exists, waiting to be revealed. The greatest illusion in this world is the belief in separation. The idea that you are here and love is somewhere out there, apart from you, waiting to be found. But love is not something to be found. It is something to be revealed, something to be awakened within you. The love you desire is not an external force. It is not dependent on another person, nor is it something that must come to you from the outside. It is already yours, already present within, waiting for you to recognize it. The mind that seeks is the same mind that creates. The very act of longing for love is proof that it is already within your reach. But most people make the mistake of looking outward, believing they must first see evidence of love before they can believe in its presence. They wait for signs, for confirmations, for another person to appear and declare their love before they allow themselves to feel it. But this is not how reality is created. The world does not bring love to you. You bring love to the world. You do not wait for proof before believing. You believe first, and the proof will follow. The greatest secret is this: you are already one with that which you seek. There is no separation between you and love. There never was. The belief in separation is the only thing that keeps you from experiencing the fulfillment you desire. The moment you let go of the idea that love is something outside of you, something that must be earned or pursued, is the moment you will see it reflected back to you in the most natural and effortless way. You do not chase love, you become love. And in becoming, you draw it unto yourself without struggle, without effort, without doubt. There is nothing to fix, nothing to change, nothing to prove. You do not need to be more, do more, or become something different in order to be loved. Love is not a reward. It is a state of being. And that state of being is already within you, waiting to be claimed. Look around at the world and you will see that everything you experience is a reflection of what you assume to be true about yourself. If you assume yourself to be unworthy, life will give you experiences to confirm that belief. If you assume yourself to be loved, the world will move in ways beyond your comprehension to make that assumption a reality. The key is in the feeling. The feeling of love is not something you must wait for. It is something you must cultivate now, in this very moment. Ask yourself, If I were already deeply loved, if I were already chosen, already cherished, how would I feel? How would I walk? How would I speak? How would I think? Begin now to embody that feeling and watch as the world conforms to your inner state. The feeling is the bridge. It is the connection between the unseen and the seen, between what is imagined and what is experienced. There is no need to question how it will come. That is not your concern. The mind that desires is the same mind that fulfills. The path will be revealed as you persist in your knowing. Circumstances will shift. People will appear, and events will unfold in ways you could never have orchestrated on your own. But all of it begins within. All of it is simply the world reflecting back the state you have chosen to assume. There is no force outside of you deciding whether or not you will experience love. The only force is your own assumption. And you assume not with words, not with hope, not with wishful thinking, but with feeling. Feeling is the secret. The moment you allow yourself to dwell in the feeling of being loved, of being adored, of being deeply valued, you set into motion events that must bring that feeling into physical form. The world cannot help but rearrange itself to match the state you persist in. Most people believe they must first receive love before they can feel it. They wait for another to choose them before they feel chosen. Wait for another to adore them before they feel adored. But the truth is the opposite. You must feel chosen first, and then the world will choose you. You must feel adored first, and then adoration will flow to you. You must assume the state of being loved before the world can show you love in return. This is the law. This is the unchanging truth of reality. There is nothing to seek. There is only something to accept. Accept now that you are already loved, already chosen, already complete. Walk in that knowing, and the world will reflect it back to you with perfect precision. Every relationship, every encounter, every experience will confirm what you have already accepted as true. You will see that love was never outside of you. It was always within, waiting for you to recognize its presence. And the moment you do, it will appear in forms so natural, so effortless, that you will wonder how you ever doubted its reality. You are not separate from love. You never were. The love you desire is already yours. The only thing required is your willingness to believe it, to feel it, to embody it now. And as you do, the world will move in ways unseen to bring it forth in perfect divine timing. What if I told you that the love you dream of is not something you must find, but something you must accept? That the experience of being deeply cherished, adored, and valued is not the result of luck, chance, or even effort, but the natural outpicturing of your own inner world. You may have been told that love is something you must seek, something to be earned or fought for, but this is the great illusion. Love is not outside of you, waiting to be discovered. It is within you, waiting to be assumed. You are not here to chase love. You are here to awaken to the truth that you are already one with it. All things exist in infinite states, and at every moment you are occupying one of them. There is a version of you who is deeply loved, who is in perfect harmony with the reality of love, for all realities already exist. You do not need to create love. You do not need to struggle to bring it into being. You need only shift into the state where love is already yours. This is not wishful thinking. This is law. Just as the radio dial does not create the station it tunes into, but merely aligns itself with a frequency that already exists, so must you align yourself with the state of being loved. When you assume the state of love, the world must reflect it. It has no choice. But how do you assume this state? How do you move from longing to fulfillment? The secret is feeling. Feeling is the substance of reality. The feeling you consistently dwell in is the feeling that shapes your world. If you feel yourself to be alone, abandoned, or unworthy, then life will reflect that assumption in ways both small and great. But if you feel yourself to be cherished, valued, and adored, even before the world gives you evidence of it, then that feeling will crystallize into form. Your work is not to find love. It is to persist in the feeling of already having it. For as you persist, the world will shift to match your inner conviction. The great mistake is in believing that circumstances must change before you can feel differently. That you must first see love in your world before you can believe it is yours. But this is to misunderstand the nature of reality. The external world is not cause, it is effect. It is the mirror of your internal state. To wait for love to appear before assuming its reality is like waiting for your reflection to smile before you do. The reflection follows the cause, not the other way around. If you desire love, you must first embody it. Look upon your life now. Everything you see is the direct result of a state you have occupied. Your relationships, your interactions, the way others respond to you, all of it is shaped by your assumption of self. If you assume yourself to be unloved, you will unknowingly act in ways that confirm that belief. You will hesitate, you will shrink, you will interpret the actions of others through the lens of your own self-concept. But if you assume yourself to be deeply loved, you will move through life differently. You will walk with certainty, you will expect kindness, you will radiate an energy that naturally attracts love to you. The world cannot help but reflect the truth you hold within. You do not need to change the world to experience love. You need only change yourself. Not through effort, not through force, but through the quiet, unshakable conviction that love is already yours. Close your eyes and feel it now. If you were already loved beyond measure, if you were already chosen, if you were already the center of someone's world, how would it feel? Let that feeling wash over you, not as something distant, but as something real, something present, something undeniable. Many will say, but how can I believe in something I do not see? Yet they fail to realize they have already been doing so all their lives. Have you not feared something before it happened, only to watch your fears come to life? Have you not worried over events, only to see them unfold exactly as you imagined? If you have experienced the power of imagination in bringing forth fear and doubt, then why should it not also bring forth love and fulfillment? The law is no different. The same force that creates lack also creates abundance. The difference is only in what you persist in believing. Persist in the assumption of love, and love must come. Not because you have chased it, not because you have pleaded for it, but because you have embodied it. The world is but a canvas upon which your inner state is painted. It does not give you what you want. It gives you what you are. And when you become love within, the world will reflect love without. Dare to assume. Dare to claim love as already yours. Do not wait for circumstances to change before you believe it. Believe it first, and the world will have no choice but to conform. This is the great secret. This is the power that has shaped the lives of those who have understood it. You are not separate from love. You are one with it. And the moment you accept this truth, love will appear in ways more beautiful, more effortless, and more inevitable than you ever imagined. What if I told you that the world you experience is nothing more than a reflection of your own inner state? That every encounter, every relationship, every moment of love or rejection is not happening to you, but through you. There is no external force deciding whether you are loved or alone. There is only you and the assumptions you persist in believing. If love has seemed distant, if relationships have felt strained, if you have longed for connection and yet found yourself facing solitude, it is not because love is absent. It is because you have unknowingly assumed a state in which love is something to be sought, rather than something that is already yours. Reality is not happening to you, it is happening from you. The love you experience in the world is not something separate from you, not something that comes and goes based on the actions of others. It is something you project, something you create by the state you occupy, and that state is determined by what you accept as true. Most believe that love is given to them by others, that it is something external, something they must prove themselves worthy of. But love does not work that way. Love is not granted by another, it is drawn forth by your own self-perception. The way others love you is nothing more than a reflection of how you assume yourself to be loved. Look around at your life. Do you feel cherished, adored, deeply valued? Or do you feel overlooked, unwanted, unworthy? The answer to that question is not found in the actions of others, but in the assumptions you hold about yourself. If you believe yourself to be deeply loved, if you walk through life with a quiet certainty that love is inevitable, then the world must confirm that truth. People will appear, circumstances will shift, and relationships will blossom in ways that seem effortless, because the external world is simply the mirror of the internal. But if you assume yourself to be alone, if you believe that love is rare, difficult, or reserved for others, then that too will be reflected, not because it is true, but because you have accepted it as true. The world does not argue with you. It does not impose its own rules upon you. It simply conforms perfectly and precisely to the state you dwell in. Many seek love through action. They believe that if they say the right words, do the right things, or present themselves in the right way, they will be chosen, adored, and valued. But action alone does not create love. It is your state of being that determines what your actions produce. You could do everything right and still find yourself unloved, because love is not earned through effort. It is magnetized through assumption. The one who assumes love does not chase it, does not struggle for it, does not plead for it. They simply embody it, and the world responds. If you desire to be loved, you must first see yourself as love itself. You must stop seeking love outside of yourself and start recognizing that it already exists within you. The moment you declare yourself to be unloved, you cast yourself into a state where love cannot reach you, not because love is not there, but because you have placed yourself in opposition to it. Love is not something you receive. It is something you assume, something you embody, something you radiate. And in doing so, it must return to you in equal measure. Ask yourself now, how would you feel if you were already completely, unconditionally loved? If you were the most cherished being in the universe? If love was so natural, so effortless, that it required no thought, no effort, no struggle? Dwell in that feeling, not as something distant, not as something that might happen one day, but as something real, something present, something undeniable. This is not mere imagination. It is creation. For as you assume the feeling of already being loved, the world must align to make it so. The people in your life will begin to respond differently. You will attract relationships that reflect your new state. And those who once withheld love will either rise to meet your new expansion or fade from your experience entirely. But the change does not begin with them. It begins with you. With your willingness to accept that love is not something outside of you, but something you are. The moment you shift your assumption, the moment you step into the knowing that love is already yours, the world will move to confirm it. Not because you have forced it, not because you have chased it, but because you have allowed it. You do not need to convince the world to love you. You do not need to prove your worth. You need only to assume that you are already loved. And the world will reflect that assumption back to you in ways more beautiful than you could ever imagine. The love you seek is not separate from you. It is you. And when you recognize this, you will see it manifest all around you. What if I told you that every relationship you have ever experienced, every moment of love or rejection, was not the result of chance, but the direct manifestation of your own inner world? What if the love you seek is not something to be attained, but something to be revealed? Most believe that love is given to them by others, that it is something external, something they must wait for, strive for, or prove themselves worthy of. But love does not work that way. Love is not granted to you. It is drawn forth by the state of consciousness you occupy. The way others treat you, the affection they offer, the devotion they express, all of it is nothing more than a reflection of how you assume yourself to be treated. how you assume yourself to be loved. Many are caught in the illusion that love is outside of them. They believe that their happiness, their fulfillment, their sense of worthiness depends on another's actions, another's presence, another's words. And so they wait. They wait for someone to show up and give them the love they crave. They wait for proof, for evidence, before they allow themselves to believe in love's reality. But this is the great misunderstanding. The world does not bring love to you. You bring love to the world. You do not receive love. You reveal it. And you reveal it not by waiting for it to appear, but by assuming it is already yours. Everything in life is shaped by the state you persist in. If you persist in the state of lack, the world will mirror that lack back to you. If you persist in the state of love, the world will reflect love in return. You do not attract love by seeking it. You attract love by becoming it, by assuming it, by dwelling in the feeling of already being loved, of already being chosen, of already being cherished beyond measure. The feeling is the secret. It is the creative force that molds reality. Whatever feeling you habitually occupy will become the world you experience. Many struggle with love because they are constantly reacting to appearances. They look at the world, at their circumstances, at their relationships, and they take these things as proof of reality. They say, see, I am alone. No one loves me. Love is difficult to find. And because they accept this as true, they unknowingly reinforce the very state that created it. But what they do not realize is that reality is not fixed. It is fluid. It is responsive. It is a mirror, always reflecting back the assumptions you hold within. Change your assumption, and the world must change with it. If you desire to experience great love, you must first embody the state of being loved. You must assume it with such certainty, such conviction, that it becomes more real to you than the external world. The mind, in its natural state, always seeks confirmation of its beliefs. If you believe love is difficult, you will find endless evidence to support that belief. If you believe love is effortless, it will appear with ease. The world does not create your beliefs. Your beliefs create the world. And love, like everything else, is simply an outpicturing of the state you dwell in. Ask yourself now, if you were already deeply loved, if you were already the most cherished being in existence, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? How would you think, speak, and act? Would you walk in confidence, knowing that love is inevitable? Would you release all doubt, all fear, all hesitation? Step into that feeling now. Do not wait for the world to give you permission. Assume it boldly. Assume it completely. And as you persist in that assumption, the world will bend to reflect it back to you in the most natural and effortless way. Most people make the mistake of looking to others to validate their worth, their desirability, their place in love's embrace. But the truth is, others are only ever playing the roles you have assigned to them. If you assume yourself to be unworthy, people will unconsciously act in ways that confirm that belief. If you assume yourself to be deeply adored, the world will move in ways beyond your comprehension to prove it true. You do not need to force anyone to love you. You need only to shift the way you see yourself, and love will flow to you as naturally as breath. Love is not a gift bestowed upon the lucky few. It is not something you must earn or chase or plead for. It is your birthright. It is your natural state. And the moment you accept this as true, the moment you assume love to be inevitable, the world will shape itself to mirror that assumption. Stop waiting for love to appear. Stop seeking confirmation outside of yourself. Instead, go within. Assume the state of being loved now, and the world will follow. The love you desire is already yours. The only thing required is your willingness to claim it. What if I told you that the love you desire, the deep and unwavering connection you seek, is not something waiting to be discovered, but something waiting to be assumed? That you do not need to change the world, persuade another, or prove your worthiness, but only shift your own inner state. Most believe that love is something to be found, that it exists outside of them, granted by another's will. But this is the illusion. Love is not something you find, it is something you are. The experience of love is simply the outer expression of an inner state, a reflection of the consciousness you dwell in. Everything in your world, including the love you receive, is the result of what you persistently assume to be true. If you assume yourself to be unloved, you will walk through life seeing evidence of that assumption everywhere. You will interpret the actions of others through the lens of your own belief. A delayed response, an unreturned call, a moment of silence, all will be seen as proof of what you have already decided. But if you assume yourself to be deeply cherished, the same events will take on a different meaning. You will not doubt, you will not waver, because you will know beyond all appearances that love is already yours. The mistake most make is believing that they must first see love before they can feel it. They wait for a person, for an act, for a sign that love is present. And only then do they allow themselves to believe. But this is reversing the order of creation. The world does not bring love to you. Your assumption of love brings it into being. The feeling precedes the experience, not the other way around. If you desire love, you must first assume its reality, feel its presence, dwell in the certainty that it is already yours. How would you feel right now if you were completely, unquestionably loved? If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that you were adored, that you were chosen, that you were the most precious being in someone's world, would you hesitate? Would you question? Would you look for signs? Or would you simply rest in the knowing? That is the key. You must learn to rest in the assumption of love before the world reflects it back to you. And as you persist in that assumption, as you make it your dwelling place, the outer world will shift to confirm it in ways you could not have predicted. Many will say, but how can I believe in something I do not yet see? And yet, they have already done so all their lives. Have you not feared a loss before it happened, only to see it unfold just as you imagined? Have you not worried over events, only to find your worries realized? If you can create from fear, can you not also create from love? The same law that brings forth what you dread is the same law that brings forth what you cherish. The only difference is what you persist in believing. If you have spent years assuming yourself to be unloved, unnoticed, unimportant, then the world has faithfully reflected that assumption. But at any moment, you may choose differently. At any moment, you may step into a new state, a new assumption, a new reality. You may choose now to assume yourself to be deeply loved, and if you persist in that assumption, the world must align to reflect it. It is not a question of if, it is a question of when. For as surely as night follows day, as surely as the tide follows the moon, your outer world must rearrange itself to match the inner world you consistently occupy. Do not look to others to tell you whether you are loved. Do not wait for words or actions to give you permission to believe. Instead, assume the feeling of love now. Dwell in it. Let it become more real to you than the world outside. Let it saturate your being until there is no room for doubt, no space for hesitation. And as you do, you will find the world responding. People will appear. Relationships will transform. The love you thought was distant will be revealed as always having been near. You do not need to chase love. You do not need to force it. You need only to accept it as already yours. The world is but a mirror, reflecting back to you the assumptions you hold within. If you change your assumption, the mirror must change as well. Assume love, not as a possibility, not as a distant dream, but as an unshakable reality. Assume it fully, live in it completely, and the world will have no choice but to prove you right. You are never separate from love. The world you experience is only ever reflecting back to you the state in which you dwell. If love has seemed distant, if relationships have felt strained, It is not because love is absent, but because you have unknowingly assumed a reality in which love is something to be sought, rather than something that already exists within you. The love you desire is not outside of you. It is within, waiting to be recognized, waiting to be assumed, waiting to be expressed through the reality you create. The great truth is this: you do not need to chase love. You do not need to earn it. You do not need to prove yourself worthy of it. You need only to assume it is already yours. Assume yourself to be loved, cherished, and deeply valued, and the world will conform to that assumption. As you persist in this state, as you make it your dwelling place, love will appear in ways beyond your imagination, not because you have forced it, but because you have aligned yourself with the reality where it is inevitable. Look no longer to the external for validation. Do not wait for another to show you your worth. Instead, decide now. Assume now. Live now in the state of already being loved, already being chosen, already being the center of love's embrace. And as you do, the world will shift, people will respond, relationships will transform, not because they have changed, but because you have. For all along, love was never something to be found. It was something to be known, something to be embodied, something to be revealed. And once you assume it as your truth, it cannot help but manifest as your reality.